We had retired early at 52. We had children getting married. We had grandchildren being born.
1 month turned into 6 months, and then a year, and so we started doing some investigating and then interventions, trying to get pregnant. I had 9 friends have babies within 2 weeks of each other. I was happy for them, but at the same time, this was one of my low points after years of trying to conceive our own child. So we decided after that point that once our house was finished being built, we were going to pursue in vitro fertilization.
On January 20th, 2014, which was Martin Luther King Day, Greg and I were both out in the yard doing yard work, and he fell over, and ultimately he was not able to be revived.
And 19 years ago, at the age of 33, our only daughter died of undiagnosed breast cancer after giving birth to her 3rd child.
In February of 2008, I found out that I was pregnant. So Daniel was born on October 3rd, 2008. And he was so wanted and so prayed for and so loved. In October of 2010, we decided to do IVF again and try for baby number 2. I thought that it was going to be easy and that it was just going to work the first time, just like it had when I got pregnant with Daniel, and I was devastated.
He was 62 years old. He had no history of heart problems, but he was gone just like that. And that was really the hardest thing I've ever had to experience. And it was hard for a long time after that.
My son-in-law was devastated. There were 2 children that were looking for their mommy everywhere. They were 5 and 3. There was an infant that had been born 6 weeks early that had to be fed every couple of hours. It was a very, very difficult scenario. It was the most devastating thing that ever happened to our family.
We went on to do 3 more cycles of IVF, none of which were successful. I remember as a teenager and young college student, I thought I was going to get married and have 4 children and have this beautiful family and live in a beautiful house and everything's going to be perfect. My heart was broken and I was ashamed and I was angry at God.
I, really struggled to wonder what God was doing. And even though it's probably not comforting to some people, my favorite verse is still Romans 8:28, which says that, for we know that God uses all things for the good of those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. And so I had to really rest in God's sovereign plan for me to live a life without my beloved husband.
My daughter had peace, knowing she was going to die. She not only had peace, she prayed for the woman that would come into her children and her husband's lives. That can only be driven by someone who knows God intimately and is secure.
I really struggled with my grief. I had some issues going back to my job. There were some other things that happened that year that were really hard.
I stuffed my feelings and shut down. I had to face my grief of not having my dreams come true of having lots of children.